We're currently still looking for 2 more victims. That is the #1 priority for the Sheriff's Department, is recovering these 2 victims, these 2 last victims.
Divers in Coeur d'Alene still searching for what they believe are the last remaining victims from Sunday's deadly plane crash. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Whitney Ward.
And I'm Tom Sherry. Let's get right to the news. In North Idaho, crews are entering day 3 of their efforts to find the remaining victims from Sunday's deadly plane crash above Lake Coeur d'Alene. In all, 8 people are believed to be dead, and authorities are still looking for 2 more victims. But as KREM 2's Taylor Vito explains, searchers are running into challenges. Taylor has been following this story and joins us live with the latest. Taylor.
Yeah, well, Tom, there are 2 main problems that are factors here: weather and equipment. It was windy yesterday, and that made it hard for the sheriff's office to use their sonar boat. However, they were hoping that today would be better. Again, as you mentioned, they're looking for the 2 final victims related to this crash. We have some video from earlier this afternoon of the team taking off. We saw the crew leaving from the 3rd Street boat launch in downtown Coeur d'Alene. Winds have made their work hard. That's because the sheriff's office says winds can push their sonar boat around and makes it hard to anchor. To use their underwater equipment, the team needs to run a straight line into the lake. And speaking of that equipment, it's partly broken. The sheriff's office says a thruster on a remote-controlled piece of gear went out. So because of that, it's taking the team longer than usual to conduct their search. And that thruster can't be replaced, they say. But the sheriff's office reiterated that finding the remaining victims is their top priority. They said they know that families are hurting.
We'll do whatever it takes. I mean, they'll be out there. They're a great team. They're a great group of deputies. They'll be out there as long as necessary to do what they can do to bring closure to this family.
For now, there's not a firm timeline on how much longer crews will search. The sheriff's office says that will be up to the sonar team. Once they feel they've exhausted all options, they'll then turn over the scene to recovery crews and the NTSB. Now, we're told a private contractor will be in charge of removing the plane wreckage from the water. That contractor was hired on by an insurance company for one of the planes that was involved, or one of the pilots, I should say, or one of those parties involved in this crash. As for the 2 remaining victims that we've been talking about, the coroner hasn't formally identified them just yet. Reporting live in Coeur d'Alene, Taylor Vito, KREM 2 News.
This story is still developing. To follow this story and receive live updates on the plane crash, just text the word crash to 509-448-2000. We will send you a link with the latest information and updates.
So as we take a look at the latest numbers now, Spokane Regional Health District is reporting 58 new coronavirus cases. This is just in the last 24 hours, and it makes the new total now 1,846. Currently, 24 people are being hospitalized. And Spokane's health officer, Dr. Bob Lutz, says those numbers really will not be going down anytime soon unless people start to take this virus seriously. And the same goes for that mask mandate, that face covering mandate whenever you are in a public setting. Now, he said over the weekend, the health department did kind of an informal survey just to see how many people in the community are actually covering their face like they're supposed to when they go out in public. And they found that right now it's right about 65% of people who are wearing a mask. But in order to see an actual drop in those new cases big enough to make a difference, it needs to be more like 80 or 90%. That is how many people need to be wearing a mask consistently every time they go out if we want to flatten the curve. And he didn't mince words when I asked about those who don't want to follow the rules.
What is your response to people who are pushing back and who say all of this, the mask mandate, the asking businesses to turn customers away, is just an overreaction?
I express disappointment, and I ask people to do a simple, maybe inconvenient, but very selfless act of wearing a face covering to protect others. We are not going to be able to break that curve if we don't do something. If individuals want to see Spokane and Washington State open up, that's the only way we're going to be able to make any inroads in where we are right now and where we need to go.
Also, a number of Spokane restaurants are teaming up to encourage customers as well as other businesses to also follow that mask mandate. And more than anything else, they want to stay open. And they say wearing this face covering, doing the social distancing, and of course washing your hands often, Those are 3 simple things that we can all do. We'll hear more from some of those restaurants and how they are handling these new rules. That's coming up tonight on KREM 2 News at 5. In the meantime, as we take a look at the numbers now in North Idaho, the Panhandle Health District is also reporting 56 new coronavirus cases today. Their new total is 592, with 5 people currently in the hospital. The Coeur d'Alene Casino announced it is now postponing all large events that were planned in 2020. All of those events originally scheduled, though, will be rescheduled for sometime in 2021. This decision, of course, coming out of concerns about this continued coronavirus pandemic and the ever-increasing number of cases. The casino says all tickets that were already purchased will be honored at the new dates, or you can also get a refund.
New guidelines coming in today on what schools in Idaho may look like in the fall. With the pandemic, we are now facing a new normal, including how schools will be taught. Our Regina Ahn joins us now from the newsroom to break down what you and your children can expect.
Hey, good afternoon, Tom. The biggest takeaway is it's expected Idaho students will in fact return to school buildings in the fall. Today, the governor's office and the Board of Education released a plan to provide local school districts with guidance for reopening schools. We do want to mention that while the framework outlines expectations, it's not a binding legal document, nor does it answer all of the aspects of reopening schools. Until a vaccine or a better treatment option is created, Idaho schools will need to prepare different types of learning methods. That includes traditional in-person classes, a hybrid model, so a mix of in-person and online, as well as an extended distance learning plan. So here are the main takeaways from those 3 categories. First, category 1, it's called the Preparedness Phase. That's when there is no community transmission. And in this phase, that's when school buildings should be open for in-person classes. But of course, everyone still has to practice physical distancing and schools need to up their sanitation. Masks are recommended, but not required here. Okay, next category 2. This is when there's minimal to moderate community transmission. During this stage, school buildings may be open, but also may choose staggered schedules to create more physical distancing. Masks are recommended when practical, but they're also considering face shields for younger students. When physical distancing cannot take place, they will reinforce those face coverings. Then there's category 3. That's when there's substantial community transmission. The state outlines that this is when there's a large-scale community transmission and healthcare staffing is significantly impacted. So in this case, if hospitals are nearing or exceeding that capacity, schools would then look to short-term or extended online learning. This draft also includes guidance on what to do if someone does test positive for the coronavirus. The key takeaway there is schools should be ready regardless, and they may have to close for a period of time. And of course, it's a case-by-case situation, which is also based on instruction from the local health leaders. Governor Brad Little will address these guidelines tomorrow morning, and for more information, you can always text schools to 509-448-2000 and we'll send you a link. Live in the newsroom tonight, Regina Ahn, KREM 2 News.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association announced today that they are planning on delaying fall sports. Sports will now begin in September. The board of directors decided football will now start on September 5th. All other sports will start September 7th. Now, to address if further delays are necessary, the WIAA is also saying that these dates will allow for games to start as early as September 18th. This is all subject to change, though. WIAA plans on making another statement on July 22nd as it continues to monitor the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward has vetoed a ban on the use of devices that emit high-frequency sounds. They're known as mosquito devices. That proposal did pass the City Council. The sound devices are used to discourage constant loitering in front of downtown businesses. Mark Hanrahan is live with us in the studio to talk about the veto. Mark.
Yes, good afternoon, Tom. The devices put out a sound that's supposedly only audible to young adults and children. Well, some business owners have insisted the devices deter people from sleeping on their property or, as you mentioned, loitering. But the devices have sparked some controversy, with some saying they are discriminatory toward young people in Spokane. The vote on whether or not to ban the devices had been deferred several times since 2019 before the council ultimately passed the ban with a 4-3 vote. Mayor Woodward said the ban is, quote, well-intentioned, but eliminates a necessary tool for employers in the downtown core.
I just think right now we need to do everything we can to support our employers.
Meantime, Council President Brian Begg said the mayor's veto came as a surprise. In a statement, he wrote, "This is the first time council members have heard about the mayor's opposition to a ban." Well, so what's next? City Council now has 30 days to consider responding to the veto with the possible override of 5 votes. We'll keep you posted on what happens. Live in the studio, I'm Mark Hanrahan, KREM 2 News.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. Time to check in with Tom as we take a look at the weather. Still quite a few clouds hanging around the area. But Tom Sherry joining us now to kind of give us some details. Hey, we're on Wednesday, right? We're halfway to the weekend.
I love that we're on the downward.
Any of that sunshine.
We are down the downward slide towards the weekend. Temperatures are only going to get warmer, Whitney. We'll see plenty of sunshine as well. Now take a look at the satellite and radar picture. As you can see, we had a few clouds across the area today, but most of them are in northeastern Washington and northern Idaho. Right now, none of them are precipitory clouds, so we're not seeing any rainfall out of those right now. 71 degrees. That's the current temperature. You've got wind out of the south at 6 miles per hour. Here's a look at your day planner forecast. We'll look for decreasing clouds this evening. Should become mostly clear overnight with a low of 53. Nice day tomorrow. We'll look for sunshine to start the day. Then we'll look for increasing clouds in the afternoon, but still temperatures comfortable right up to about 78 degrees. You know me, I'm always tracking the weekend. Look at Saturday's high temperature, 87 degrees with plenty of sunshine. A cool front moves in though Saturday night into Sunday. Look for windy conditions, increasing clouds Sunday, and a chance of a few showers in the afternoon. Temperature-wise, though, still comfortable. We'll see a daytime high of 77. Whitney, I'll check your 7-day forecast coming up in just about 10 minutes.